morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. New year, new logo, bit of a new attitude. I'm actually thrilled to report on this because I remember the dark days when every year the drinking and driving numbers were going up. There seemed to be no end in sight. Well, currently, I live in the orbit of a city of 2.93 million. Do you know how many DUI arrests there were on New Year's Eve, which is the biggest holiday for drinking and driving? 17. And believe me, the police are out. They're still doing their stops. They're still doing their sweeps. And they only got 17. That is phenomenal. It took years for them to get the numbers down, but it shows you a generational program can make an idea work. Start off, the 70s I was really too young to remember anything significant. But in the 80s, I know they put a pretty big blitz on, telling people, drinking and driving, leaves you dead. I think they had a more calm message, but that was it. The courts turned up the pressure too. Now, I'm kind of a bit soft when it comes to drinking and driving. I think if it's your first time, then they should put a scare on you. Not really big into jail time for a first time offense. People do make mistakes. They're overtired, the alcohol hits them a little hard. They just got carried away. They're stupid. I've had friends that have done that. On occasion, I have been forced to do it once because my then girlfriend came home after a night of drinking and started beating me up. So I said, I'm not staying in a situation where this potentially unstable person is going to keep hitting me. So I went down, got in my car, drove to some place that I could pull over, and it was safe. Ironically, it was New Year's Eve. But my mercy only extends to those cases where you didn't hit anybody, you didn't injure anybody, and nobody got killed. Yeah, throw the book at them. And each time that they're given or they wind up receiving another DUI, crank the penalties up. First time we'll take it nice on you, provided, like I said, didn't hit anybody, you're caught in one of the random traps. Okay, we'll give you a slap on the wrist, something that's going to make you think. Maybe you have to go to this course and, fill out a report or whatever it is. But I'm a firm believer in second chances. Second time and up, nail them to the wall. But this has been a generational program. From the 80s and 90s, when I know the various cartoon characters got together and did a special on not doing drugs. But in my memory, I seem to recall that there was something similar done for not drinking and driving. And of course, sports athletes came out and said, we don't want you drinking and driving because it's, dumb. When I was in university in the 90s, like I said, I know people who've drinking who were drinking and driving, and I've stopped a few people from drinking and driving with help. And slowly that mentality has changed. As I said, I remember them reporting record numbers, which just shows that the police are getting better and better at catching people. It's pretty... I remember I was pulled over a couple of times. It was New Year's Eve, and they had set up a trap. Pulled me over. Now, I was coming from work. So, they pulled me over. I was smiling, happy to the policeman. "You been drinking tonight?" And I said, "Nope, officer, but I'm going to go home and have a couple." They used to give you those, um, what do you call them, the ice scrapers and stuff like that. I don't know why they stopped that idea. Well, budget, obviously, but at the same token, it was a good thing. It rewards you for not drinking and driving. And now here we are in 2024, and we've proven that you can solve a problem. It just takes generations. I've never been to court when they were trying DUI people, which is strange because at one point Silverlight wanted to become a lawyer. And so I would go there and watch the cases, and it was way more interesting than what they show on Judge Judy. No offense to Judge Judy, she did a fine job her entire career. Like I said, the real court is actually a lot more interesting. There's not nearly so many objections. The lawyers pretty much know the rules. Not saying that they don't try to sneak stuff in there, but it's a very different thing. But I never got to see many DUI cases. Like, the few times I've been, it would be for like speeding tickets and stuff like that. And then just usually the prosecutor makes you a good offer. If you like the offer, you go with it. If not, you defend yourself. I've always found their offers to be pretty fair. But we have to start taking a generational approach to other problems. Right now, let's be honest, leading killers are heart disease and cancer. The problem is we get so much information about news studies show this causes cancer, this causes heart attacks, this causes whatever the heck else it is. Blur that in with 2 years of news about COVID and a possible another wave coming out, and it's very difficult for people to get in their required level of activity, their required level of hydration, etc., because we honestly don't know what it is. How long are we told drink 8 glasses of water a day? And now they're saying maybe you don't have to do that. Well, I'm usually pretty thirsty, so it's not a problem for me. I'm going to drink that from now until the day that I can't drink anymore. Alcohol is supposedly a carcinogen. Cigarettes, everybody knows they're horrible, but realistically, you're reaching that last tiny percentage of the hardcore drinkers, the hardcore smokers, the hardcore, gamblers. And they're the ones that are the problem. That's why, in my drinking and driving law opinion, as a completely unqualified individual, I kind of believe in an exponential punishment system. So, yeah, first time, as long as you don't kill anybody, as long as you don't hurt anybody, as long as you don't hit anything, you're going to give up some of your time, you're going to get a monetary fine. I think there needs to be a little more judge discretion, but there also needs to be a judge, what do we want to call it, a chart for the judge. Because first time is very difficult to say. Second time, there's no chart. There's going to be minimums. Third time, minimum. By the fourth or fifth time, when they have so many points on their driver's license, they're driving with a suspended license. So, while you'll never get rid of these people and stop them from drinking and driving, those 17 people knew damn well drinking and driving was against the law. Not a surprise. It's not like when they passed that law banning texting in cars and so many people got blindsided by it. I wasn't, but I had to go to court for something else, just a speeding ticket, a minor speeding ticket. So all those people were in there and they were complaining, yeah, I was just checking my phone and they nailed me for distracted driving. Yeah, they told you it was coming, but drinking and driving is such an old-fashioned problem. And I think it's going to pretty much die out. And I emphasize the die part on purpose. I think the demographics are the young and the old and like almost nothing in between. I have a simple rule. If I start drinking, I hide my car keys. Well, I don't hide them, I lock them up. I also lock my cell phone up for completely different reasons, but I think you can guess what they are. So it's virtually impossible for me to go drinking and driving unless I borrow someone's car, and I hope anybody I would be asking would be smart enough to say, but Silverlight, you've had a couple drinks. Yup. And they'd be smart enough not to loan me one. If you take a generation approach to solving problems, it is a lot of time and effort. But look, we're down from thousands of people being caught, and who knows what kind of property damage, what kind of, anything going on, down to 17. My jaw hit the floor. Nobody's reporting on those numbers because it doesn't make for good TV. When it's setting a new record or thousands, there's something they can put their frowny face on and report. But 17, this is a number that we should be celebrating. And I didn't do a lot of research into other cities because, for example, I've been to Los Angeles, and the people down there seem to follow their own rules. Been to Montreal. Their traffic rules are astonishing. They're taught to drive the same way we do, but they don't drive the same way we do, but they manage to stay safe. Yeah, you would never drink and drive in Montreal if you had the good sense God gave gravy. But there it's natural selection. It's people taking themselves out. If we switch to a generational model, yes, we are kind of abandoning people, but unless those drunks who decide to drive have a come to Jesus moment, they're just always going to be doing the same thing. We can't force that. The courts are unfortunately very lax when it comes to certain things. Assault, for example, I'm always shocked how low those sentences are. Oh, but this will ruin the rest of the offender's life. Good. Let it. What do you think it did to the victim? I'm a lot less sympathetic there. No first time ticket for me because it's not a natural thing. Your brain knows what you're doing is wrong. Drinking and driving, well, we've already proven you're intoxicated, so you're not in a stable frame of mind. But like I said, let's focus on the good news. It's a problem that seems to be slowly solving itself. We're never going to completely get rid of it. Just because drinking is a socially acceptable way to, I'm going to say, to deal with a lot of problems. And even though it doesn't deal with problems, and I get that before you guys fire off a flurry in the comments, that's the way people see it in their minds. It's not correct. It's not even justifiable. But, like I said, it's just the way things are. I do it myself. Sometimes I open a bottle for a drink just because I've had a hard day, and I'm not the only one. But like I said, I make sure I'm not touching a car. And I've never really been tempted, aside from that one time I admitted at the beginning of the show. Speaking of the show, with that, we'll bring this first episode of 2024 to a close. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click like, share this video, because that still actually attracts people. Don't forget to tell your friends about it. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that way every time we make a new video, you're informed. We hope you have a fantastic 2024.